Hello, this is J8X Stuff. I'm Bob J8X. This is my video channel that I use to make videos and put them on YouTube and talk about stuff. And this video is going to be about the equipment I use and how I record video. It's right up there in the upper left-hand corner. This first part is going to be the equipment I use. Naturally, and the second video I'm gonna split this up for fear of making a video too long. This is probably going to be the first one about a half an hour, and maybe the second one the same thing too. It's not to see how many minutes I can get. It's that the stuff I want to cover, and the purpose of this is to talk about what I've learned, and if you're wanting to get equipment to do this, you've got a webcam and you've got a this or that, you want it to be a little bit better than it was before, than you've done before. You want to take the next step up. Now, this isn't necessarily a tutorial. This isn't, okay, step one, go to the upper right-hand corner. It's to talk about the stuff I've gotten, the microphones, the mixers, the cameras, and stuff like that, to try to make a better video. And that can be cheap. And when I say cheap, what comes to mind to a lot of people, most people, is, oh, okay, cheap usually means not good. And sometimes, yes, cheap might not mean good. But what I've learned over the years is if you do some looking around, for instance, there's stuff inside microphones and whatever, cameras or whatever, that are, there's stuff inside the really good things, the really good microphones or cameras that are inside the cheaper ones, but it's just a different brand name. You can sell it cheaper, for a different brand name, and for something a little bit better, they put it in a better package, that makes it better. But it's the same guts inside. A microphone, for instance, I've learned that, and this is over the years. This is not just recently. This is over the years on how to buy a microphone. When you learn that the mic element inside it, it's the same in a $200 microphone, and as it is in a $20 or $30 microphone. Not in all cases. This is not what we're talking about, but it's just what you learn. So when you say to yourself, I want to get better at video. I want to do more stuff. I want to use two cameras at the same time simultaneously. Like I do. If I pull that up here. I have another camera on simultaneously. It's looking at that mixer there. And the program I use, which I will discuss, it is possible to do that, And in this intro video, I want to go to so many places, but I won't, to save some time here. But just to be able to do that on a computer nowadays, you can plug in what I'm looking at right now, my USB webcam. I can plug another one in and use the software, OBS software, and simultaneously have multiple webcams going at the same time and switch between them. Just to be able to do that, to have that technology. And as I said before in my other videos, I'm from the before time, where the old analog cameras and the synchronizing, but now it's done on a computer, and you can do it on a laptop. So that's what I want to talk about, amongst other things, but that's some of the stuff I want to talk about. I'm going to show you stuff that I've had good luck with, and that is cheap. And I had to do some searching around. Amazon and eBay are the two, pretty much the two things that I have been buying from. The format may look different as we go along here. This camera is a little different than the other one I was using. I had a couple of cheaper webcams that I've used, and this one I'm using is a Logitech 1080p, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was $40 or something like that. As far as webcams go, if you look at the specs, it's how much you want to spend and how good it can be for you, like 1080p, which I will discuss. Cameras, you know, it is good to have a camera that is capable of 1080p. That's how good of a spec it has, how good of the screen it has. I've had, the thing about that is I have another webcam that I bought very cheap, as an example here. And I may go into it further down the line, you know, for the clips, but I have another webcam that I've had for a few years now, and it says 1080p on it, but it's not. When you open it up, boom, it shows you 720p. Whatever, it's fine. You know, sometimes a webcam is all you need. Like you know, as example here, I told you that I'm using this webcam here, and if I went full screen with it, which I don't want to right now, if I went full screen with it, you would see me full screen. And, you know, it's okay. It would be a little grainy, but that's fine. I have a camcorder, which I can use for stuff like that. I have a GoPro, which I can use for other stuff like that, which the quality is a little bit better. First things first, I'm going to switch over to, if you've seen, I'm going to refer to this. Have you seen my video? If you've seen it before, the previous video, I talk about my camcorder. And I in this, you know, I have webcams, and I wanted a camcorder, and I kind of didn't get one, obviously, because they can be pricey, you know, camcorder. But looking around and seeing a couple of videos on YouTube, someone was talking about getting these cheap camcorders, and you can see this here. I got to make sure I keep it in view, but I bought this camcorder for €60. And having said that as well, I'm living in Germany, if you don't know, and everything is obviously euro here. So I paid €60 for this, but it would be $60 or $60 in the US. The number is more or less the same for prices, you know, here and in the States, but obviously the value is different. The cost of it is different. It could be whatever number that is, you know, it could be $50 and €60, but that's the actual value, but the number is probably the same. So I'm gonna say, you know, $60 for, or whatever bucks something costs. So yeah, so this camcorder cost me 60 whole dollars, 60 whole euro without a microphone. And looking for this camcorder, I just didn't go out and say, oh, I can only spend 60 bucks for a camcorder. You know, let me see what I can get. You know, after hearing about the cheaper camcorders you could get, just saw, like I said, I saw a random video on YouTube about it, and I was surprised at what you could get. And so after looking around, I said, I want to get a camcorder that at least does 1080p. That's the resolution of everything that's good nowadays. Computer monitors, they go up higher than that, 4K. So I want to look for 1080p, that quality there. And I want to look for 60 frames a second. Okay, so if that means anything to anybody, you know, 60 frames a second might not be what I shoot the video in, but it's something I want to strive for because I might want to do a video in 60 frames a second. And having said that, I'm shooting this whole shebang here onto OBS at 30 frames a second because it's more utilitarian, it's more common. People like to make their videos in 60 frames a second because obviously more frames per second, it looks better. File sizes are larger, and I'll either get into that now or get into that later when I talk about editing the video. So I'm shooting this all in 30 frames a second. My camcorder is capable of 60 frames a second. So that means you know that the processor inside can handle all that. It's a better quality. And so I looked for 1080p quality. I looked for how it records. If I can show you that there, it records with a little memory chip. That's a little battery there. I got 2 batteries in this little kit I got for the camcorder. Because the batteries don't last very long anyways. I did find that you can plug this camcorder into one of those larger rechargeable battery systems that you can recharge your phone with. It has that kind of connector, so you can use that. That's actually really cool. So you can have, I have one of those humongous recharging batteries there that if you're on a long trip, you plug your phone in, blah, blah, blah. And this works great. Okay, so this has, obviously, this is all sorts of stuff that you can go, and I won't go into it all now because I don't need to, you know. But that is the whole point. Is you're going to look for specs, certain specs, you know, for how much money you spend. You know, I figured that I would be spending about 100 at least. You can get a Sony or a Samsung camcorder like this, a real brand name one, for 160, 170, under $200 bucks, you know, and it's a Sony, and they're really good, and they might even be 4K. You probably, you know, I will suggest if you're able to buy one, but I wanted to find one cheap. So that's the whole speech there. Did I say the microphone was not included on this, which I can go into next if I wrap up, you know, just talking about this camcorder. I can, you know, I'll obviously record video on it. Just before I finish here, let me do that now. I'm going to record video here. I'm going to push record. And then I'm going to go over here and actually record and see how good it is. Hopefully I can sync this up when I record, when I edit the video in DaVinci Resolve, which is what I plan to do. And I'll show you more about that later. But basically this is I'm going to get some video of this microphone, which I'm going to talk about next. And I have the other webcam there, and my main webcam there that I'm using now. It is just a $40 webcam. Nothing spectacular about it. It does 1080p, but okay. So that is shots. That's shots of. Well, this is actually my little setup in the corner here for my video recording computer. I have my other computer over here, which is way more powerful, but this is the one I transmit through NDI, the NDI plugin. That's what I use to transmit over to this one. I'm going to stop this now. Hopefully I'll be able to sync this up. The other reason I bought this, I was wanting this camcorder to also be a usable webcam type of deal to see how it's good. I didn't have much faith, and it was true. The webcam is not as good a quality as the camcorder part of it. It's whatever, you know. That's the whole thing is $60 for a camcorder. What do you expect it to be? You know, if that's what your need is. Now, if you're a videographer and you want to make movies and stuff like that, your requirements for a camcorder are a bit more. Yes, look for that. Get something that's good. There are settings, and it might be on this, I don't know, but there might be settings on this on camcorders, you know, for 24 frames a second, you know, which is movie, you know, and things look smoother and they look different. Like I said, it might be on this, but it's not. I didn't look for it. You know what I mean? So if your requirements are that, and you wanna do that, that thing, the movie stuff, that's awesome. You know what I mean? So definitely do that. Okay, so This is supposed to be talking about the microphone that I bought, but I forgot stuff about the camera. So, anyways, but the magic of editing. So yeah, this is the camera. Excuse me. This is the microphone I bought to go with this camcorder, and it plugs. Obviously, there's like a little cable to plug it into the back. You know, this camcorder. Which is I planned ahead that I knew you could plug a microphone into it because I knew that the sound quality from the built-in microphone wasn't going to be good. And that is the thing about these, obviously these, cheaper camcorders is the sound's probably not going to be good, which whatever, fine. Okay. I got this microphone. And I hope I remember all the little details that I think about this microphone. But I got this microphone a while ago before planning ahead. I knew I wanted it. And I said, oh, okay. You know what? These little microphones have different brand names on them. Mookie is this one. I don't know if I could switch to Cam 2 if the quality is good enough. This is a Mookie brand. I've also seen this under different brand names. Notably, one is Boya. Boya does a lot of stuff like this, the cheap camcorder stuff. And I shouldn't say cheap as it meaning a bad thing. Inexpensive things, cost effective, however you want to put it. But there are certain brands that are cheap. And they're still very good. And this is one of them. And yeah, one of the names is Boya that you might find this brand. The other brand name, which is even more well-known, professional musical equipment, microphones, and other stuff is Rode, R-O-D-E. And I found this microphone. Am I pointing to the right thing? This microphone I found in the Rode brand, and it looked exactly like this. And you pull the foam off, and this is what you'll see. I also found a lot of microphones that kind of look like it. Like this is real metal. This is a metal, aluminum, whatever. $20, $30. Obviously, the microphone is not going to be great, but it didn't need to be. And I was very lucky in doing, looking for, and not expecting it, but I found a brand or a kind of microphone, that you plug in and it plugs in, and it needs power. That was the camcorder that just thunked on the table. It needs power to run. It needs electricity to run. Some camcorder microphones don't. This kind of microphone that does is called electret, not electric, like electricity. It's electret. That's the kind it is. You have other microphones that that require phantom power and all this stuff. You've got the handheld vocal microphones that don't require power or whatever, like that. The ones that the singers or vocalists use, stuff like that. A brand. To drop a brand name is a Shure Sm58. That's the most popular handheld singing vocal mic. There are tons of them out there that are really good and some that are better. But that's kind of like the stapler of singers, vocalists. Anyways, okay, so I found this. I found a really good deal on it. What am I thinking? Was it 20? Like I was like 20. You probably find them for $30, different brands or whatever. But you got to make sure you check out this stuff with the foam off it, because like I said, this is metal, aluminum, and there are some that are plastic that look like this that are crap. And you can get good specs on this. Okay, so if you're not really sure, no pun intended, but if you're not really sure of, how good the specs are, go check the specs of a microphone, like this, a videographer microphone, or whatever. Check the specs of it and look at it. If you're going to get, the frequency or the hertz of it. I know that's going full nerd there, but if you see the frequency or the hertz, if it starts at like 20 hertz and goes up to 16 or 18,000 hertz, that's how low a bass it can go, and that's how high the treble can go. So, and those numbers, if you see this one is 20 to 16K. So I knew it was going to be okay. And I needed to be okay because checking this camcorder, and I figured it would be not great. And it isn't great. It's like it goes up to 8,000, and, the recording quality of it. So the microphone is, it's not recording as good because the camcorder isn't as good. Microphones and stuff like this for this camcorder is secondary to me in this case. This is video that I can use. I can use a separate thing for audio, to record audio. I can use a phone to record audio. That's better than this camera. And I'm looking over at my phone, but I don't need to. So yeah, you could use a secondary audio source. That's how videographers do that. That's why you see those clapper boards there. If you don't know about that, or why they do that, it is to synchronize different cameras to whatever audio recording source there is. That's old school. That's always been done. Even if they have some sort of, synchronizing between the cameras to a central source, there's time code that's called. But even if they do that, they'll use the clapper boards to synchronize your audio, so you can use multiple cameras without the sound. Anyways, I know that kind of went there, but also so obviously I was talking about this being able to plug into the back to be able to use this. It came with adapters so that you can use it. If you'll notice here, you can notice it. It has a number of bands on this cable here to be able to plug it into this camcorder. It came with an adapter to be able to you plug it in. And it has less bands on it if you're plugging it into a computer that doesn't need to power this microphone the same way. You use an adapter. It's mostly for a computer, laptop. Some phones need this kind of connection to it, and some phones need this other kind of adapter. So unless I can think of something else, or I'll edit something in later, but this is the camcorder and microphone that I use. Like I said, and having plugged this into a computer, well, I have an extension cable with it. Having plugged this into a computer and used it, it does really sound good. You know what I mean? And yeah, like I said, I definitely suggest something like that no matter what you do, because these aren't very expensive, and they chuck a lot at you of all the needs you have. You're like, what do I need now? You know what I mean? I just want a camera. So you've got, at this point now, we've got webcams, and then we've got camcorders. If this should work for B-roll, what's called B-roll, the secondary stuff while you're talking, there's video going on in the background. And my format I like is this dual screen thing here. It's my kind of gimmick that I've glommed onto. Other people use it, but I don't remember stealing it. I would, I'm one for saying, I totally copied that. If there is, I've seen videos of people have, video screens in different places, but this is mine. So if I stole somebody else's, sorry. This here is a GoPro camera. And this was a gift to me. A couple of years ago, a teacher gave this to me as a going away gift for a trip to Germany here. What her idea was that, put this on your dog. and mount them to your dog, and get some video of that. And it took me a while to actually do it the right way, because I tried to do it before. It didn't work out the right way because, it's difficult to do that sometimes, put a video camera on a dog. Okay, so this GoPro is very nice. The good thing about this GoPro is the fact that it was designed for action, for holding it, for mounting it to things. In fact, I got a kit a while ago to mount this thing to different things besides animals. So, it was like a whole kit of, 30 or 40 things, little adapters and stuff like that. The good thing about this camera is it uses the fuzzy logic, the technology in that, because if it's shaking around a lot, so it takes some of that out, which is very good. What we have next is, if you're going to be recording interviews or you're in a place that's noisy, you might want to have a lapel microphone. This is obviously wide open. This thing, what did this cost me? $9, $9, €9. It's cheap, obviously. Lapel microphones, though, don't need to be, unless you're connecting it to a wireless, transmitter in a theater or whatever. But if you're doing an interview, and a lot of people do this, I learned about this, that they'll use these $9 little microphones because, you can plug it into a computer, obviously, but you can plug it into a laptop and you are portable. So, with adapters, with one of those adapters like I have here, you can plug it into a camcorder. That's the other way you can record with a camcorder. Obviously, you can't take a webcam with you, unless you're on a laptop. But yeah, so using this lapel microphone is pretty good. You look around, you want to make sure what you get with it. If I haven't spoken about this before, I got a lot of stuff on Amazon, a few things on eBay over the years, and I still have those things. But this, I believe I bought this off Amazon, like I said, for €9. And I figured it, of course you say that, I figured it would be okay. But having looked at specs of them and not having a big expectation, it's going to sound a certain way, just that whole, a little bit of, if that even describes it. That doesn't describe it as good, but it's just that kind of tangy sound, that way too close to your face sound. And but if you're doing an interview, you might want something like this. So I got that. I got this. I got it a while back. And the good thing about this is, if you're not spending a lot of money and you don't want to, it's like you can get, I need this tomorrow. No, ahead of time, I'm going to need something, probably, look at this good deal I got here. So yeah, I paid $9, $10 for a lapel microphone a while back. And if you have one kind of lapel microphone, you can use this tangle of wires. No, what this is, untangled, is this. This is a dual lapel microphone into one connector. This is not stereo. This is not, 2-channel or whatever. These are blended. They both go, these cables. I'm not going to undo these, but they go into this little cylinder here, which has a battery in it. Then it goes out, and you can plug it into your phone or your laptop or your camcorder using the adapter I have. So you can use that. And I have an interview that I hope to do soon, and I'm going to use this. This is where we're getting into the other stuff. Not directly related to any of the audio or video devices. This is a USB mixer I got. Because it being USB, I needed a way to plug analog audio things into it to record them. This here is an Xlr Microphone Jack that you can plug a professional microphone into, if you're not familiar with XLR or you heard that name thrown around, like XLR connection, you know what I mean? That it's three connections there on the cable. It cuts noise, or you know, the reason why it's called balanced, and it cuts noise for a long cable if you have a microphone plugged into it. It being USB connection on the back of it, you can run this simultaneously with other devices. The beauty of OBS is that you can have multiple cameras, webcams, and you can also have multiple audio devices at the same time. This all was not possible years ago, especially with Windows. You know, just to have an application to use multiple audio devices at the same time. But this can run with other stuff. This is, and I'll explain it a little later if I haven't already yet. This is a USB microphone I'm using, obviously not plugged into this. Runs separately. So yes, there's a need for this. You can get bigger ones, you know, bigger mixers, more inputs and stuff if you needed. This was another thing that was very inexpensive. And there are a few brands, different brands out there that are like this, that do this. You can get those. I got this one because it has, get it close to the microphone, it has a built-in compressor. So that handles the audio peaks of me talking. If it gets too loud or whatever, it lowers the boominess of the microphone. So I got the mixer for that reason, and obviously it was also cheap. Cheap, and okay, here's the thing. This is, you know, let's address the Behringer. You know, it's the brand name is Behringer, so let's address the Behringer thing, because, you know, we have to all the time now. Behringer stuff, audio, video stuff, or whatever, has a reputation, has a little black mark on its reputation, or whatever you want to call it. And they also copied other manufacturers, having addressed that. You know what I mean? If you know about this, that's the 800-pound elephant in the room. This works really well. I really like it. The other good thing about this too is if you are recording multiple sources, and this is the part about the USB audio that I talk about. Okay, so when you have a device that's analog and you plug into it and it goes into the computer USB, it converts the analog, just the regular audio signal, to digital. That's what the USB is. Now, to go down the nerd road, to Nerd Town a little bit, that's the beauty of computers, is it turns it into a digital, blah, blah, blah. These USB devices, this one here, it goes into the computer and you can listen to it back out of the computer through the headphone output. So it, you know, on this one, it does it like that. Other USB mixers or USB devices, it does it like that as well. I'm going to speak about this microphone, though, in a minute because it's a little bit different. But yeah, and you have your devices can, you know, it can listen to the audio coming back right from the computer, or it can listen to it a blended, you know, because there is a bit of a delay when it goes into the computer and it comes back out. Usually it's not that much. If I'm listening to, you know, what I'm recording right now on my headphones, if I'm listening to that, it sounds a bit like, you know, there's a delay to it, so it sounds a little echoey. I'm not wearing headphones. I don't need headphones because of that. You know, there is a bit of a delay. You know, even to say that word, you know, I say it so much, bit of a delay to go into the computer and come back out to listen to it. I'm listening to this with his headphones. Like I said, I'm listening to this from my my regular computer. So it goes in USB and it comes out through my computer, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But yeah, so USB mixers are also very, very useful and valuable. You like I was talking about before, you might only need with a couple of inputs. You might need more if you're recording your band with video or however you do that. One of the other things I bought was this very ugly gold colored microphone. I got it so I could see it's XLR. This should go right after this talking about the USB Behringer mixer. But okay, so it's got XLR out. So it's this flavor of mixer that it needs phantom power. And if you're not sure about what it is, Google that, and it's not to be arrogant about it or say, just to blow people off and say, go Google it if you want to know. It's just some of them, some little microphones need to be powered by, and you can power them by a computer or a laptop. The more professional ones need 48 volts sent down that cable to this microphone to power it. Any microphone like this. Some of the handheld microphones, vocal microphones, don't need that. Okay, so I bought this one, this ugly gold one, and people may like this and say, "What are you talking about? Why do you think it's ugly? You're ugly." But yeah, so this microphone, I got this actually. The reason why, all joking aside, I got this in a kit. It came with the arm that this microphone is on right now, but it came with this other microphone and a bunch of other stuff, pop filters, and it came with the foam filter and all these little mic holders and stuff like that. So that's the reason was I wanted, and some cables too. So it was this whole kit, ridiculously low price. If I remember correctly, what is it? Was it $50 or something like that? Obviously, most of the stuff is going to be in that ballpark there that I bought, or no more than that. I've spent, like I've said, $10 or $20 on a thing. So yes, I got all this stuff in this kit, and it came with this gold microphone. So I got this kit with it. So I said, okay, well, it comes with a foam pop filter, so I can just always leave it covered. I just thought it was ugly. And obviously shopping around for this, you obviously shop around for specs and all this other stuff. If you don't, and like I was talking about before with microphones, if you're not sure what to get, because of all that stuff out there about what the specs are, my investigation into this, before I says, okay, well, it's good enough. The microphone element in there is not bad. I mean, it's about 1/2 to 5/8 of an inch, as compared to real microphones, vocal microphones, recording microphones. They're an inch or whatever, 1.5 for the really, really good ones, or for the really expensive ones. So this one was okay for that. It actually had specs on it, and I could check, and I threw those numbers around before, but it's the same type of deal. So it was good enough. So that's why I got the gold one, because they have all black ones or silver ones or whatever. You know what I mean? And I says, well, I like this one better. It comes with all this stuff, and the specs looked good, and it actually doesn't sound bad at all, after putting it down and all this other stuff, because it's gold, but it actually sounds pretty good. So that's what it's used for. Just move this camera up. I mean this microphone up. It moves the camera up, the other webcam. But yeah, this microphone I got, it has a volume control on the front of it. Oh, it's right in front of my face. Stupid. But anyways, it has a volume control on the front of it, and it has a headphone jack on the front of it. And maybe I'll give you show you a picture of it or something like that. Said I want to pull out the camcorder for this, but anyway, so this is a USB microphone. Plugs into the USB port of the computer, obviously, and like I said, it has a headphone jack in the front of it, so you can hear what you're saying, and it's not delayed. There's no delay from going into the computer and coming back out again because it bypasses that, or it doesn't go there yet. I am not 100% sure that that when you play back sound audio from the computer or something, that since it's an audio device, I'm not 100% sure that it will play sound back out the headphone jack on here. Anyways, this one was obviously, once again, one of those microphones that only cost 40 euro. Brand name, there is no brand on it, but if you look for a USB microphone, a big black one, and with the volume control in front of it, and that was the gimmick that I said, oh, I like that. Okay, I'll get that. Not being as concerned. These microphones like this, when I talk about microphones, they're better than a webcam microphone. They're better than that. So that's all they really have to be. Those webcam microphones are adequate when you're doing video conferencing, Zooming, Google Meeting, professional editing. This is my Bluetooth headphone set. And this one here, what is it? Whatever brand this one is, it cost me $20. And obviously when you're going, there are a ton of Bluetooth headsets out there. And obviously the good ones are the Apples and the whatever brands that you go for. And I've held out for Bluetooth headsets for a while. I have my regular headphones and stuff like that, but I wanted one that I could go with my telephone, my phone, my cell phone, listen to stuff, and I could be wireless if I'm on my laptop in the living room. It can connect to anything, a Bluetooth device. I had to get from my regular computer, I had to get a Bluetooth adapter to plug into the USB for it to recognize it. But the thing you need to know about if you're going to use a Bluetooth headset for live audio, some Bluetooth devices, receivers, or whatever, introduce more of a delay between what's going into the computer and what's coming back out of the computer. It's too much delay for live audio stuff. When I listen to some devices, obviously there is less of a delay because they're more whiz bang and they cost more money. I just found out that that there's too much of a delay. If I'm watching a video on my computer or my laptop, there is no delay when you see the video, and then you hear the audio. There is no delay like that. That works fine. These are really useful for when I'm editing the video, when I don't need the big honking headphones on while I'm doing this, and I can stick one in my ear because I'm just editing the video clips up. So I got myself a set of these, and they were once again very cheap, but you still want to look around to make sure if you're getting something cheap that you're getting something pretty good. It has full range sound and all of the stuff, and it was a selling point, and it was and here's a point that I didn't talk about before, but when you're looking for something on Amazon, you look for you automatically, and everybody does this, you automatically see how many people have reviewed something and how popular it is, how many stars you get. So I've got most of my stuff on Amazon, and pretty much all of that I've gotten has been, Amazon Prime, Amazon Choice. So it's most of these have been the top ones. That's the first thing. And I'm glad I did not forget to make that point. Okay, so this is the end of part one of this video. And like I said at the beginning, Part 2 goes into the software. I divided up this video so it's not, you know, excruciatingly long. Some notes about it. Like I said at the beginning, my aim for this is to show you some stuff that's actually pretty good and I haven't had bad luck with. But as with anything, your mileage may vary and your opinion may vary too. If I will say again that, you know, if you don't want to buy a $10 lapel microphone, don't. You know, the prices go up, you know, for the quality or the perceived quality. You just have to, you know, be sure what you get. This should be the last end of part 1 notes that I'm gonna put out here. But what I wanted to add to the end of this is some of the stuff that I've noticed about some of the equipment I've been using over this project and actually 2 more projects. Well, 2 more parts to this same project. This was supposed to be all one project. This was supposed to be all, you know, showing you my hardware, my equipment, and then showing you the OBS and showing you DaVinci Resolve, which is quite involved. And I know that would have been a little bit, yeah, it would have been like 45 minutes an hour, maybe for that. But this has turned into too big, so I'm dividing up these clips. This is part 1, obviously. And then we're going to go on to part 2, and then part 3 will be DaVinci Resolve. I may have been referring to it, you know, as part 1 and 2, and I think I have been like correcting that along the way. As I've been editing this video, I've been learning, you know, no, this is going to be a little bit longer than I thought, so I've been correcting it that way. But at the end, I just wanted to make sure I said that. We're going on to part 2 to OBS. No matter what I said before, the next video clip will be the part 2 of OBS, and then part 3 will be DaVinci Resolve. Other things that I wanted to make notes of at the end of this project, using, you know, while I've been editing this and using this microphone here, I've noticed some things about it. And, you know, I'm talking about, like I said, you know, a cheaper microphone, a little bit bigger. Sounds pretty good. You know, there are some things I've noticed about it, little hissiness of it, accentuates the S's that you say. All those are things that I can get around, or I can make less of a problem by using noise reduction in OBS and DaVinci Resolve. I have that built in. You can use noise reduction. So it hasn't been much of a problem. What about, and this is what I kind of realized was, if I'm talking about this, what about if you're using applications out there that don't have it? You know, what if the Google Meets or the Zooms or whatever that you're doing, however you're recording and uploading your videos, if you're using something that can't get rid of the noise reduction as well, or if it's more of a problem. This microphone that I got is a bit of a problem that I noticed more so when I was actually editing it, when I'm listening to myself talking and I'm going, oh, well, that's worse than I thought, that I didn't notice in OBS. But when you're editing something and moving something back and forth a lot, you're starting to, oh, it's a little hissy, and the noise from down, the noise floor, it's called, from down below, there's that inherent noise that's there. It's a little higher as hiss. But like I said, I can use things to get that out. So that definitely is what I wanted to address here, is the fact that sometimes if you're spending less on something because, you know, you can get one cheaper, you may have to do more to fix it later, you know. Whether or not that's good or bad, you know, it's up to you. You know, I have to fix more of the sound later because this microphone is this kind of microphone. Having worked with a lot of microphones, and also making the point that I've used a lot of microphones. And it's not to say to impress anybody or to brag about it. It's just that I've used a lot of microphones. This is a different animal. This whole, you know, when you're doing something like this, you are making a video using a camera, using a microphone, and you just want it to be a little bit better than that. You've used stuff, and it's not the same as it was before. You don't need, you know, a recording studio mixer, although if you had one, awesome, but you don't need that. You don't need you know, $1,000 camera to put something out on YouTube or Twitch or wherever you're going. You know, you don't need all that to do this. And it's more or less, this is the kind of thing we're doing now. There are a ton of people doing these videos now, and you see all kinds of videos. You know, pretty much everything is acceptable as far as what goes on to YouTube or whatever. You've got just the laptop webcam people, you know, they're just putting it out there. They're not getting microphones like this. They're using whatever they have. And then it goes all the way up to actually, you know, they're doing podcasts or YouTube videos out of their recording studio, their really nice recording studio. So that's the kind of environment we're in now. That's what's popular now, you know. And I, like everybody else, has jumped on this bandwagon. You know, the purpose of this was, okay, so I want some more stuff. How do I do that without spending a ton of money, first of all? And once I get this equipment, I fully plan to upgrade each piece of it, as I have been. You know, I have my sights on a Shure MV7 microphone that I've been wanting for a while now. It's a really good microphone, and it's USB out, and I'm sure it doesn't have this kind of noise, you know what I mean, that I have to deal with in this. And webcams as well. And, you know, this one that I'm using right here, just to talk about this one, you know, look, I got a really bright, you know, really bright on this side, and it's a little dark on this side. I have a lamp, and I have a huge window open to my right. And in this situation, it's fine. It is not, you know, I don't have one of those lights that are for webcams and stuff like that. I haven't gone down that road yet. But I have my camcorder I've been talking about. That's another point with the camcorder, is not the greatest. Some issues with it. The issues aren't really bad at all. It's just some things it's the things you learn about a piece of equipment, and you have to not give up on them. You have to figure out how to use them. How can I use this that is good? And some of the things I've learned about this, and I'm going to pull this up again. Well, first of all, one of the things I've learned with using that camera is that it is going to be great for doing the video part, not using the audio from it at all. And I learned in DaVinci Resolve how to synchronize the two clips. It will do it automatically. Synchronize two video clips in DaVinci Resolve. I had finally had to go down that road because I shot video on one thing, and then I want to use, and I'm not using the video from it. I'm using the audio from it. And I shot video on another thing. So then I had to synchronize them, and DaVinci Resolve has a thing right in it, built right into it. And I'll talk about that later, more about that, but I'm talking about that now too. So that's one of the things I had to find out. So I want to use that camcorder for the fairly good video quality. It's good. You know, like I said, I'm not making movies, you know, and I have my which I'm looking at, my webcam-y quality here, which is fine for this, you know. Specifically, I did an interview with somebody that I talked about before, but I did an interview with him, and I used the webcam to do that. And it was a little bit further away, and it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. So I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to use the video from the camcorder and synchronize the audio later. All that other stuff. Blah, blah, blah. So there you have it. There are some thoughts of what I have been learning and experiencing in doing this video and the other videos that you will find out if you continue. Hopefully you will. And I do appreciate, you know, anybody that does watch my videos here. It's, like I said, it's an outlet. It's somewhere to, you know, to express your views on or share what you've learned. Like I said, this is a whole new animal, and I appreciate your time, and I appreciate your, if you're watching this, you know, you're obviously experiencing how much I do edit, because like I said before, I do cut out a lot because I want to cut out for time. You know, if there's any of those spaces in between saying something that I just want to cut out, or if I say something dumb, you know, or I go too many times, I cut out a lot. So that's why you see a lot of that. So anyways, this is the end of part 1. And please, hopefully, when part 2 is available, keep an eye out for it, and look for it. You'll see the part 2 video about using OBS. So thanks again. See you soon.